Hey guys, this character design idea comes from Ayoop and her contest that just ended a couple days ago. The prompt was to design the prompt was to design a frog outfit for an OC. My best friend helped me do some brainstorming, and from the very start we wanted to do a poison dart frog. Instead of going down the more traditional, cute, plushy frog pathway, I decided to create a more villainous, sleek, deadly type of design. Before I get into my design choices and everything, I wanted to give y'all some cute little facts about these little guys. So I think the most obvious fact is that they are aposematic, and I didn't know what it was called or what that word was, but I knew that animals had this trait, and basically that just means that their bright colors and markings serve as a natural warning to predators. And honestly, when you look at these guys, I feel like you can kind of tell that they are poisonous just because of their colors. And I think that's really cool how nature has things like that. So the poison from dart frogs are stored in special glands that are on their back and their neck area. Something that I just googled because I just had like a thought, like, where do they get their poison? Apparently some sources on Google say scientists believe that they actually don't make their own poison, and that they get their poison from their prey, like the chemicals in their bodies, such as ants, centipedes, and mites, and stuff like that. That's actually really interesting. So to talk a little bit about how I wanted to design her, in these earlier sketches, I actually don't use either of them because I come up with something I like a lot better after I went to bed and woke up the next day. I had like a fresh mind, and I realized that her costume right here was looking a little bit too complicated, and I wanted to simplify it down. So the idea is that she would be deceptive in the way that she looked very calm and pretty and simple and cute, just, standing there with a hat that kind of covered her identity. And then she would be an assassin type character, and when she takes her hat off and when she chooses to, like, poison secretes through her whole body, including her hair. I guess I took the term dart really literal. So darts would like fly out of her hair, as well as her hat. She could kind of throw it like a frisbee or a boomerang, and little darts would come off of it, and the hat would come back to her. And I came up with this random idea that there'd actually be a frog underneath her lily pad hat that was like controlling her to like do this evil stuff. It was a cool idea, I think, but it was very overly complex. And in some kind of way, she kind of looked like a clown at the end, honestly. Something that I kept in the final design of her is her dragonfly inspired top. Dragonflies are known to be some of the basic food for frogs that they've eaten since like the beginning of time, apparently. So I thought it would be very fitting for a villainous type of character to create intimidation by wearing a design made of something that they eat. In this final sketch, I went with more of a Disney-esque villain type of pose. It's very exaggerated with the curves and the sleekness. I actually expanded the bottom of her dress out into like a really large circle lily pad so that it would kind of balance with the larger lily pad on her head. Her lily pad hat is inspired by Japanese samurai hats. When I googled what to call these hats, I kept finding varying terms, so I am just resorting to Japanese samurai hats. I'm sorry for being uncultured. So when it comes to the colors that I chose, there are actually many different types of poison dart frogs. You'll see red, blue, yellow, green, orange, and my favorite coloring was the blue and the orange. I really like the idea that complementary colors are actually used in nature a lot, and so I wanted to take advantage of that. When doing my line art, I tried my best to remain zoomed out as much as possible, as to not get like really nitpicky on the neatness of the lines, because it was going to be seen further away, so I didn't want to go too far in and waste time tidying everything up perfectly. It's something I'm still getting used to, but I'm really enjoying not really caring too much about the preciseness of the lines. I think a lot of life can come from having messier lines, and I really enjoy that type of style. Instead of rushing right into colors, I decided to take some time to figure out my values, just the darkness and lightness of the colors that were gonna go on there. So her skin is more light toned compared to the darkness of the greens and the gradient on her dress and the lily pad on top of her head. Working in these values first before jumping into colors helped me balance out everything, I feel like. So on this character's outfit, she has some really smooth gradients going on, and that is probably my favorite part of this character design, is how I treated the gradients. It actually wasn't too long ago that I realized gradients are amazing when it comes to art. I would always use very flat colors, but adding gradients can really make a drawing and painting more dynamic. I had thought about making her dress blue to orange, but it felt like the orange was overpowering, so I kept it blue to green, and I brought out the orange in her hair. There are also spots all over her dress to match the patterns that are most found on these frogs. In the end, I decided to get rid of the water lily that was on top of her hat. I kept it in the portrait sketch, but on her overall design, it just felt like it was taking a lot of attention away. Most specifically when I started shading it. Like when it's flat colors, I think it looks kind of nice, but when I started shading the individual petals, it just felt very detailed and sharp compared to the more like overall smooth gradation going on. I don't know, maybe I was overthinking it, but I decided to get rid of it, and instead at the end I put a little tiny frog up there, and that is like really adorable, so I'm not mad that I changed it, you know? So overall, I'm really happy with how this design turned out. I love the gradients in her hair and dress, and probably most of all, I love how there are a ton of sharp edges, like in the hat, like the cuts of the lily pad, and also the bottom of her hair is very sharp, and I love how that kind of contrasts with the smoothness of her body and overall roundness of like the shape of the hat. And then there's these really sharp cuts that are going into them. I feel like that contrast is really nicely balanced. And last minute, I made the decision to merge the top of her dress into her stomach, so it almost makes it look like her dress is part of her body, and I feel like that gives her like a really nice reptilian type of vibe. So something I also really like is how I gave her dress a really high slit in it, kind of like formal dresses that are a little bit more spicy. They kind of have like a slit going down the side, and that felt really fitting because lily pads typically have a cut in them. If there is something I had to critique about this, and trust me, there's a lot, but I think the biggest one is her hands. They're not really doing anything or showing much personality of who she is or what she's doing. They're just kind of there. And it's not awful, but I feel like I could have shown more of who she is by having her hands do something, maybe like holding a weapon, holding a bow, having a frog in them, or just making them have more like villainous personality, like reaching towards the camera or something. But it's not awful. They're hands, they are doing what they do, they're existing, so. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and comment below any recommendations that you want me to turn into a character. And until next time, bye!